Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Suud, President of Multimedia University, accompanied by Dr. Shalin Thiagaraja, Chief Executive Officer of TM Research and Development. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly remain standing for the singing of our national anthem, Negaraku. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Suud, President of Multimedia University, Dr. Shalin Thiagaraja, Chief Executive Officer of TM Research and Development, Honorable keynote speakers, co-organizers and sponsors representatives, presenters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Digital Futures International Congress, DIFCON 2026.
For your information, DIFCON is an academic congress organized by Multimedia University aimed at providing a multidisciplinary platform that brings together scholars from diverse backgrounds to disseminate ongoing research related to the digital future of global society.
This year, in line with the growing global emphasis on the Sustainable Development Goals, we are proud to continue supporting these important efforts through our Congress.
And I, Nazri Amin,
and I am Zarina Mat Yatim,
we will be your MC for today's program. This year marks the 6th edition of DIFCON, a testament to its growing importance and influence in shaping the future of our digital world.
DIFCON is not just a congress, it is a confluence of 6 dynamic and interdisciplinary co-located conferences. The 7th Multimedia University Engineering Conference 2026, the 6th International Conference on Computing, Information Technology and Intelligent Computing 2026, the 6th International Conference of Creative Multimedia 2026, the 7th International Conference on Communication, Language, Education and Social Sciences 2026, the 6th International Conference on Law and Digitalization 2026, and the 6th International Conference on Technology and Innovation Management 2026. Together, These conferences provide a platform for the exchange of groundbreaking ideas, the presentation of cutting-edge research, and the fostering of collaborations across a wide spectrum of disciplines. Our hybrid format reflects our adaptability in the face of global challenges, removing geographical barriers while continuing to create meaningful spaces for knowledge exchange.
Over the next few days, we encourage each of you to fully engage, share your knowledge, and embrace the innovative spirit that defines DIFCON. Let us challenge our conventional thinking, inspire one another, and collectively pave the way towards a future where intelligence and sustainability go hand in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, praise be to God for granting us the opportunity to gather for this momentous occasion.
Before we proceed with the program, let us begin with a dua recitation, a short prayer to seek blessings for this event. The recitation will be led by Mr. Taufiz Abdul Ghani, Senior Manager of the Research Management Center, Multimedia University.
على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا إخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا يا الله يا رحمن يا رحمن On this blessed morning, in conjunction with the launching of Digital Futures International Congress 2026, DIFCON, we seek your infinite blessing and guidance for an impeccable progress of this event from the beginning until the end. Please shower us with tawfiq and hidayah so that all of the participants and everyone in this event will gain maximum and positive impact of the program. Grant us with a valuable knowledge that will be beneficial to mankind to gain your maratillah. Ya Munzil al-Barakah, Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. In this auspicious event, we are indeed humble and grateful for the bounty we cherish today. Let our efforts succeed well and secure success. Make us fulfill our determination, give answer to our prayers, listen to our requests, cause us to obtain the good of this world and the hereafter. Please grant strength and wisdom to the participating institution, collaborators, and researchers of DIFCON 2026, so that they may make significant contribution to the developments of MMU and our nation. Ya Allah, protect us from all forms of threats and disasters, grant us safety and prosperity, and bless us with passion and strength to face every trial that you place before us. Accept our deeds and reward us with your mercy. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Mr. Taufiz. May DIFCON 2026 be blessed with success and guided by His grace. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the CEO of TM Research and Development, Dr. Shalin Tiagaraja, for the opening speech.
Apologies for that. Nampak memang we rarely have events here. So salam sejahtera and a very good morning to Yang Berbahagia Prof. Datuk Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Sood, President and CEO of Multimedia University. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Alias, Director of MMU Research Management and Chairman of DIFCON 2026. Representative of our co-organizers, and we have two who managed to come all the way from Vietnam and Indonesia. I would like to name them if you don't mind. Assistant Professor and Creative Industry Strategist from Telecom University Indonesia, Assistant Professor Hanif Azhar, Associate Professor Lim Kok Yong, from Digital Media at RMIT Vietnam, School of Communication and Design. Our sponsors, Bonview Publishing, Clarivate, iStar, Heng Yuet Singh, Miss Liz Kamaruddin, and Springer Nature. Supporting organizations and universities, keynote speakers. There are many of you here today. I apologize, I will not name all of you or else this will take another half an hour. But thank you all so much for taking time off to spend with us and to share your knowledge and your experience with all of us here today. Distinguished guests, colleagues, students, esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Digital Futures International Congress 2026, and it's truly a privilege to host this opening ceremony here at TM R&D, the research arm of MMU. This year's Congress is especially meaningful as it's the first time DIFCON is being held here at TM R&D. Hosting it here is more than a change of venue. It is a reflection of a closer relationship between academic research and the industry. And also our shared aspiration to turn ideas into solutions that create meaningful impact to society and the nation. DIFCON 2026 also marks an important step forward in its academic and scholarly impact. We are pleased to have secured a wider range of publication arrangements with international and local publishers, including Springer Nature, Bonview, AIP, and a few more, just to name a few. Yeah. At TMR&D, we believe research and innovation must go hand in hand with real-world needs. Ideas should not remain within publications or prototype alone. They should lead to solutions that create meaningful value for industry, society, and the nation. And that is why platforms like this, DIFCON, matters. They give us the opportunity to bridge knowledge with application and vision with impact. Ladies and gentlemen, as a multidisciplinary congress bringing together science, technology, and the social sciences, then this includes a wide variety from law all the way to communication. DIFCON encourages us to look beyond technological advancements and consider how innovation can address global challenges. widen access, and shape a better future for all. For those joining us physically, I also encourage you to explore what we have, a showcase out here just after the keynote speakers. It is an opportunity to see how research can be brought to a commercial front and move beyond theory and into practical applications that supports transformation and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I would like to thank the organizing committee, co-organizers, sponsors, publication partners, and all contributors for making DIFCON 2026 possible. Your dedication and collaboration have made this a truly meaningful international platform. On behalf of TMRND, thank you for being part of DIFCON 2026. May this Congress inspire insightful discussions, bold ideas, and partnerships that will help shape a more innovative, inclusive, and sustainable future for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Charlene, for the inspiring opening speech to all of us at DIFCON 2026.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the President of Multimedia University, our beloved Yang Berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Suud, to deliver his officiating speech.
Okey. Tak okey saya tong sampah buang. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you Mr. Nazri and Zarina. Dr. Charlene Tiagaraja, the CEO of TMRND, Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Yusof alias Director of Research Management, MMU, and the Chairman of DIFCON 2026, my friend Professor Khairul Saleh Muhammad Sari, the Vice Chancellor of UNITEN, and the future Chairman of JLU. Professor Abdul Rahim Abu Talib, the Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, belum lagi Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor of UPM, yeah. Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Halimah, Assistant Professor Harif Azhar, I don't know, and the representative of co-organizers and partners, keynote speakers, distinguished guests, participant of DIFCON 2026, organizing committee of DIFCON 2026, colleague and students, ladies and gentlemen, Alhamdulillah, we are gathered here today for the 6th edition of Digital Futures International Congress of DIFCON 2026. On behalf of Multimedia University, the main organizer of this prestigious event, I'm delighted to welcome all participants from around the world, in both physically and virtually, and to this meaningful gathering of minds. Since the inception of DIFCON in 2021, DIFCON has reached its 6th edition, continuing to play a vital role in shaping how innovations are explored and shared and applied responsibly for the benefit of the society. I know the committee actually tried to move this DIFCON from hybrid mode to physical mode, but I think I told them that it is good that if you can maintain this hybrid mode where everyone can participate, and this will lower the cost of attending the conference. And today I'm happy that we have participants who still participate in this DIFCON online. As you know, the DIFCON stands for as a flagship academic congress of MMU, bringing together 6 conferences from diverse disciplines under one umbrella. We have CITIC 2026, International Conference on Computing, Information Technology and Intelligent Computing, ICCM 2026 International Conference of Multimedia, Creative Multimedia, International Conference on Communication, Language, Education and Science, Social Sciences, International Conference on Law and Digitalization, International Conference on Technology and Innovation Management, and Multimedia University Engineering Conference. This year, we received 907 paper submissions, reflecting its growing recognition as a global platform for dialogue, discovery, and cross-disciplinary innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, at MMU, we are proud to be in one of the Malaysia's government-linked university, established in 1997 by Telekom Malaysia Berhad, Malaysia's leading integrated digital and telecommunication company. We are known for the market-driven programs, particularly in the domain of AI, digital, information communication technology, creative multimedia, engineering, business and management. MMU also offers programs in cinematic arts, accounting, law, strategic communication, at the level of foundation, diploma, undergraduates and postgraduate studies. Maybe you are wondering why we are here in TM-R&D. It is the research arm of TM, but since how many years ago? 3 years ago, TM transferred this research arm to MMU. Now, all this TM-R&D is part of MMU as a subsidiary of MMU. And since then, we restructured our research structure in MMU, where now TM-R&D is the one that is handling all research activities in MMU. So all researchers are now reporting to Dr. Shalin. Dr. Shalin is handling all the grant and managing the research activities of all researchers in MMU, the full-time researchers in TM-R&D, around 300 of them, and around 700 the part-time researchers, the lecturers and who is also trying to do research at MMU. So this move is actually where we try to combine industrial research with academic research. I know the journey was not easy at the beginning. This is just like kawin paksa, you know, so not easy to convince all parties. But now, as we are now moving 3 years ahead from the merger of these two entities, we can see that there is a lot of potential that we can explore. And through the creation of 7 Centers of Excellence under TM-R&D, where we combine all our researchers together under this entity, we hope that this will help MMU to uplift our research activities and culture, and together with the support from everybody here, we'll be able to do something great for the nation. Since the establishment of MMU, we have produced more than 80,000 graduates, and currently we are having over 18,000 students, including about 2,400 international students from 85 countries from across our campuses in Malacca and Cyberjaya. Then since the establishment of MMU, we have engaged with many collaborations, with industry players and institutions, both nationally and internationally, including in organizing DIFCON. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizing committees and our 7 co-organizing institutions, Telkom University Indonesia, University Ciputra Indonesia, Universidad Siglo XXI Argentina, RMIT University Vietnam, where we have our friend Dr. Lim Kok Yong here, Universitas Multimedia Nusantara, Indonesia, EGS Pillay Engineering College, India, Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies from India, as well as our valued sponsors and dedicated contributors. Your continued support and collaboration are instrumental in the success of DIFCON 2026 and in enriching this Congress with diverse global perspective. DIFCON 2026 features an exciting lineup of keynote speakers across the 3 days of this Congress. To all our distinguished speakers, thank you for your presence and for contributing your expertise in this important platform. Today, we are honored with all the leading researchers, not only recognized locally but also internationally. We have Professor Dr. Abdul Rahim Abu Talib. Thank you, Prof, for coming here. Professor Dr. Sulaiman Wadi Harun, who are here also. From University of Malaya, we have, of course, Professor Khairul Saleh, who will be also doing a keynote speech. I think Prof. Emeritus Dato also will do a keynote speech. So thank you very much for attending this event, and we are confident that all participants are looking forward to the insightful sharing from these distinguished academicians. As Malaysia continues its journey towards becoming a digital-driven nation, institutions like MMU remain committed to advancing research, innovation, and meaningful global collaboration. It is important that research present at DIFCON does not remain within academic boundaries alone, but translates into impactful solutions that address real-world challenges and benefiting industries, communities, and society at large. This is also the idea when we put TMR&D together with MMU, so that we can combine the academic research with the real-world solution. Before I conclude, I would like to encourage all participants to fully engage in the session over the next 3 days. Take this opportunity to network, exchange ideas, and foster collaboration across disciplines and borders. For those joining us physically in Cyberjaya, I think we will have some session here, and we also have some session in MMU. In the afternoon, MMU. Why here close? Not enough space. All this building is TM R&D building, so mainly the activities here are research. So maybe we don't have enough facilities to host this event here entirely in TM R&D. The hybrid format of DIFCON 2026 reflects our commitment to inclusivity and accessibility, enabling meaningful participation from across the world. Let us embark on this journey of innovation, discovery, and meaningful impact together in shaping a smarter, more connected, and sustainable future. So with that, it is my great pleasure to officially declare the Digital Future International Congress 2026 open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dato Dr. Mazli Ham, for your officiating speech. Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dato, may we kindly invite you to remain on stage for the next segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at the highlight of this morning's opening ceremony. May we invite Dr. Charlene to kindly join our President on stage for the official launch of DIFCON 2026. For this year's ceremony, we will embark on a journey through virtual reality as we launch DIFCON 2026 in a truly immersive way.
Prof. Dato, are you in the virtual
Spaceship?
Perhaps we could look at Prof. Dato's point of view. It appears that Prof. Dato are now inside the spaceship. All right, we are waiting for them to switch off the lights so that all of us can see.
All right.
Prof. Dato'? Kindly give us a thumbs up when you are ready to proceed with the launch. So, Prof. Dato', you may now push the lever to launch the spaceship whenever you are ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jupiter for DIFCON 2026 Digital Futures International Congress 2026 is officially launched. Confer and prosper.
Wow, and with that, DIFCON 2026 is officially launched.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dato', Dr. Charlene, and Prof. Yusof. We kindly request you to remain on stage for next part of our ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the VR showcase entitled Jupiter, we just witnessed, highlight the next frontier of our research. As emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, and immersive systems increasingly converge towards space exploration, our presentation draws inspiration from the iconic Star Wars saga. Fittingly, the Star Wars Day was yesterday. May the 4th be with you. By featuring MMU-inspired spacecraft accelerating at warp speed, we symbolize the rapid momentum of our more MMU phase. This visual captures MMU's dynamic approach and our unwavering determination to propel the university into the next era of the digital future. The team of researchers, led by Professor Technologist Dr. Neo Sekian, aka Prof. Ken, is a professor at the Faculty of Creative Multimedia, specializing in multimedia technology and education and constructivist learning environment, together with technologist Muhammad Tamim Farouk bin Khairul Azmi, a researcher and a lecturer in the Faculty of Creative Multimedia, and their master student, Mr. Sin Kai Sun. Both Mr. Tamim and Mr. Kai is our Permata Dunia. Ladies and gentlemen, let's us give big round of applause to the team for this incredible and immersive VR experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move to the second part of the opening ceremony. The success of DIFCON 2026 would not have been possible without the strong support of our co-organizers, sponsors, and distinguished keynote speakers. To recognize their contributions, Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dato' and Dr. Charlene will now present the certificate of appreciation to them. We begin with our co-organizers for DIFCON 2026. May we invite representative from Telkom University, Indonesia, RMIT University Vietnam. We also acknowledge our co-organizers joining us online: Universitas Ciputra Indonesia, Universitas Multimedia Nusantara Indonesia, EGS Pillay Group of Institutions India, Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies India, and Universidad Siglo XXI Argentina. Ladies and gentlemen, may we invite all co-organizers for a group photo? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our co-organizers. Thank you, co-organizers. You may now take your seat.
Next, we would like to recognize our valued sponsors whose generous support has made this event not only possible but truly outstanding. Our sincere appreciation goes to Liz Kamarudin and Associate, next, iStar Community, next, Bonneview Publishing, yep. Someone kat Dr. Shadi, dia nak terpegang 2 hadiah. Dia terpegang Bonneview punya juga. Dr. Shadi. Solah betul. Next is Bondview. And our last sponsor, Clarivate. May we invite all sponsors for a group photo? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors. You may now take your seats. And now we would like to honor our distinguished keynote speaker for DIFCON 2026. May we invite to the stage Professor in Senior Technologies Dr. Abdurrahim bin Abu Talib, University Putra, Malaysia. Professor in Senior Dr. Sulaiman Wadi Harun, University Malaya. Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Halimah Badiuzzizzaman, Zaman. Next, Assistant Professor Hanif Azhar. Mr. Charlie Chan Kamwai. Mr. Lim Sun Aik. Next, Professor in Senior Dr. Khairul Saleh bin Muhammad Sahari. Mr. Shahrul Nizam Huzairi Mat Hashim. And our last keynote speaker, Ms. Liz Kamaruddin. Prof. Madani will take for Professor in Senior Dr. Khairul Saleh. For Mr. Shahrul Nizam, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a group photo with our keynote speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our keynote speakers. Thank you, our distinguished speakers. You may now take your seat. And ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with a photo session to commemorate this opening ceremony. May I once again kindly request all our online attendees who have yet to do so to switch on your camera. If possible, please use the official DIFCON 2026 virtual background provided. Prof. Dato and Dr. Shalin, could you kindly stand to the left and right of the TV? Right, thank you. And is the camera ready for the photo? All right, our technician will take the photo. 1, 2, 3, and smile. So we have to wait for the middle TV screen to show the Microsoft Teams. Prof. Dato want to take a group photo of... All right. So Prof. Dato, Dr. Shalin, and Prof. Yusuf, you may return to your seat. So we will have a group photo. And can we request to all our physical attendees to kindly stand up and stay to the center towards the stage so that our cameraman can take the whole hall of our group photo.
All right, let's gather everyone in the center of the hall for our group photo.
And at the back, can come forward for the group photo.
Thank you everyone for being such great sports. We truly appreciate your presence in making the official launch of DIFCON 2026 a memorable one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us now return to the program. For the next session, we are pleased to invite our distinguished keynote speaker to share his insights. May we welcome Professor Insinyur Dr. Abdul Rahim bin Abu Talib, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International from University Putra Malaysia to deliver his keynote address. Professor Abdul Rahim Abu Talib is a distinguished scholar and leader in aerospace engineering, widely recognized for his contributions to research, education, and industry. He earned his PhD in engineering science from the University of Oxford and a Bachelor of Engineering in Aeronautical Engineering from the University of Salford. Currently serving as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International at University Putra Malaysia, Professor Abdul Rahim previously held several key positions, including Director of Quality Assurance, Head of Department of Aerospace Engineering, and Deputy Dean at the Faculty of Engineering. He also served as a deputy chair of the Council of Quality Assurance for Public Universities. With extensive industrial experience, he was seconded to the Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Centre, MIT Meteor Advanced Manufacturing, and the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology. Professor Abdul Rahim is a president of the Southeast Asia Network on Aerospace Engineering, deputy president and fellow of Malaysian SET, and a top research scientist Malaysia from the Academy Science Malaysia 2024. A registered professional engineer and ASEAN Chartered Professional Engineer, he has authored over 130 journal papers, and in 2025 is listed among the world's top 2% scientists by Elsevier and Stanford University. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Professor Abdul Rahim Abu Talib.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and very good morning. Yang bahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Mazli Ham Muhammad Suud, the President and Chief Executive Officer Multimedia University. Yang berusaha Dr. Shalin Tiagaraja, the CEO of TM R&D. Yang bahagia Profesor Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Alias, the General Chair of DIFCON 2026, fellow keynote speaker, Professor Engineer Sulaiman Wadi Harun, seniors, officers of the universities, conference chairs, forum panelists, presenters, conference participants, distinguished colleagues, whether online or physical, fellow researchers, and of course the ambitious students, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillah, syukur kita kepada Allah SWT kerana dapat bersama pada pagi yang sungguh indah ini. This is my first time being here in TM R&D and just got to know it is also part of Multimedia University. Congratulations, MMU, and of course, congratulations to the DIFCON organizer for organizing this year event. This is the 6th event of DIFCON, and of course, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to being here. My friend Professor Kamaruzzaman, or Professor K, is the one who responsible to persuade me to share a little bit about the journey at UPM. Okay, try to get used to this. Right. The thing that I'm going to share with you today is basically about University Putra Malaysia, our journey in terms of transforming UPM, transforming in terms of digital transformation, where we would like to advance in terms of teaching and learning. At UPM, our motto is berilmu berbakti, meaning that with knowledge, we serve. Without knowledge, we cannot serve our communities, especially our students. And of course, without knowledge also is not best if we want to provide our services to the community, right? So as we know that in our digital era, information can be taken or can be, you can get information anywhere, anytime. However, knowledge is what you need to acquire. That's why universities are still relevant. We still need to acquire knowledge through all the information. As we approach the midpoint of this decade and the coming of the digital era, way back a couple of years ago, now we are in the year or the era of artificial intelligence. The way we deliver our teaching and learning will be very different. That's why at UPM, we would like to generate, we want to share, we want to serve the knowledge which is undergoing a seismic shift. With a humble beginning, just going through our historical background a little bit, we started as a school of agriculture way back 1931, right? From a school of agriculture, we then transformed ourselves into the College of Agriculture Malaya, part of University Malaya actually, in 1947, before University Pertanian Malaysia or Agriculture University Malaysia was established way back in 1971. That is our third transformation until 1997. University Pertanian Malaysia or Agriculture University Malaysia being transformed again into University Putra Malaysia. So what I'm going to share with you, not about talking about the numbers here, not about our history, but where we are heading now. Right? Today I'm going to share with you about our roadmap in terms of transforming UPM as a smart university. I believe MMU is leading ahead in terms of digitalization. So what I'm going to share with you is not about setting up faster Wi-Fi connectivity. It's not about buying new software. It is actually a fundamental transformation in terms of the evolution in teaching and learning. So we are here today I want to share our experience in how UPM is positioning itself as a global leader in the digital education frontier in the year 2026 onwards. So before we look on the how, right? So probably best to look at where UPM now. UPM stand in the world arena. So I'm proud to share with you that in 2026 we have already solidified our position as a global powerhouse, and as we know that our ranking is now 134th in the QS World University Rankings, and we are basically 22nd in Asia, right? So this is not about telling who's the best and what not. It is basically to share with you the collective impact of our research and the quality of our graduates. In Southeast Asia alone, we are now ranked number 4, and we continue to dominate in our niche strength. So basically, our niche strength, none other than still agriculture and food security, and this is being translated into our position there, right? And of course, at the same time, our veterinary program. As you can see in front of you now, basically in 2026, there's a new subject being ranked, which is data science and artificial intelligence. Alhamdulillah, is already in the list now, and of course we also have nursing and others. So basically, the global recognition itself provides the foundation of where we are heading to have to become a smart university in 2030. We are constantly changing because not because we are failing. This is due to the fact that as a leader, we must innovate and we must change to stay ahead. Okay. Tak apa dengar. How do we maintain the momentum? Way back in 2023, when we got our Vice Chancellor, the first time UPM received a Vice Chancellor outside from UPM. Datuk Farhan originated from University Science Malaysia. When he came to UPM, he did a transformation. It's not just a physical transformation, it's an organizational transformation, and we put our true north. We follow our true north, and this is how we realign back our priorities. And basically, this is our house of true north. And what I want to share with you that we have the main roof, which is the outcome based, where we believe every ringgit spent and every hour spent in terms of lecture must result in a measurable impact on the society. And then at the same time, we have value driven in the age of artificial intelligence, human integrity as well as the ethics, the values of UPM are more important than ever. And the third item I want to share with you in this particular site is that we are inclusive. A smart university is only smart if it works for everyone. What that means, everyone means the students, the staff, the supporting staff, the lecturers, the top management, regardless of their background or digital literacy. As what I said just now, True North Excellence is built on a bedrock of actionable data and institutional wisdom. So we are moving from guessing what works to knowing what works through data. So what are being shown here are our framework to reality. The slide being shared with you today being prepared by two entities. One is the Chief Digital Officer at UPM, being supported by our IT division, as well as the Faculty of Science, Computer and Information Technology. So under the Chief Digital Officer, we have already mapped our 2026-2030 pathway for digitalization of the university. And in terms of the digitalization, so we basically have a catalyst where we are having AI and smart digitalization as the key enabler. It's just a tool for us to move University Putra Malaysia to another stage. And this is basically having three core functions. The first one is talking about evidence-based governance. In order for us to effectively decide what to do, effectively decide what not to do, basically based on our data, the trend that we have. So basically our administrators now using real-time dashboard to manage resources effectively. At the same time, smart and well-being campus, kesejahteraan warga, that's where we have our campaign on Jiwa Putra, right? People, our staff basically is not only embrace the spirit of the True North, but also believe in giving, rather than trying to ask a lot of things from the university. So basically we are using technology to monitor and enhance the mental as well as the physical well-being of UPM community. And last but not least, in terms of the accelerated impact, I'm talking about AI-powered operations, from energy management to student registrations. AI is reducing the friction of university life. So what we have here, the transformation engine. So if we look here, our transformation engine being governed or being supported by two primary elements there. One is the virtual learning environment, and the other one is the integrated governance. So this is where the virtual learning environment, where we translate infrastructure into academic excellence through immersive education such as augmented reality, virtual reality, as well as borderless classrooms. On the other side, we have the integrated governance, where we ensure that the research being done at our labs is supported by an efficient, paperless administrative machine. And so by 2030, inshallah, our goal is basically to have a fully seamless digital experience where the boundary between physical and virtual learning will disappear. So next, basically, this is to try to show you the UPM digital transformation core pillars. We have 6 core pillars over here where we look into the human capital, right? The quality data, cyber defense, integrated system, digital governance, as well as the ICT infrastructures. To ensure we stay on track, right, we basically identified 6 specific strategic targets. And what the first one is about efficient services, where we provide user-centric digital delivery for every student and staff member. And then we have our best learning experience, where over here we are creating an engagement-focused ecosystem where students are not just passive listener but active participants. In the new Rancangan Pelan Tinggi Malaysia 2026-2035, students are no longer being called students. They are called learners, pembelajar. This is a new term that being coined, pembelajar. Students are no longer just students, they are now learners. So, and then next we talk about high impact R&D, where we provide our researchers with the state-of-art ICT tools to solve global problems. And then we have smart applications, where we streamline our administration to remove bureaucracy. Of course, there's so many red tapes. We need to follow pembendaharaan kewangan. We need to follow whatever the government rulings. But however, being an autonomous university, I'm not saying that it's 100% autonomous, right? We are trying to remove all the bureaucracies at our university. And then the digital culture. And the culture does not come in one day. It has to be nurtured. It has to be there must be awareness. There must be a buy-in to the staff as well as to the student. Where this is perhaps, I can say that the hardest thing that I'm also as the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and International trying to move the mindset, try to shift the mindset of our staff, of our lecturers to embrace innovation. And finally, beneficial products to ensure our ICT outcomes actually benefit the Malaysian economy as well as the global community. A little bit, I'm going to go to quite quick on this part. In terms of our action plan highlights, of course, 2026, 2030 is not that far. So roughly about 4 to 5 years. So we map our key initiative driving the transformation in education and culture. The ultimate aim is basically in 2030, where, as I mentioned earlier, smart learning ecosystem that involve digital pedagogy upgrades. We are looking at our curriculums, whether they are still relevant, and how the traditional curriculum, we have 173 programs from diploma, degree, masters as well as and PhD need to be transformed. And then what immersive classroom that what Dato' Mazlihan wearing just now, the goggles, smart campus ecosystem in terms of physical to digital bridges, IoT integration, empowering R&D with high-performing computing, research enabling tools, and we also have an action plan in terms of cultivating digitalization in terms of the culture shift and training milestones. And similarly here, action to impact diagnostic, we look into how student experience, administrative efficiency, and academic innovation can be mapped to the 4 items that I mentioned just now to ensure that the delivery in terms of the action plan being implemented effectively. These are the whole ecosystem. I'm not planning to tell you this. As you can see that we look at the inputs, the human capital, quality data, cyber defense, integrated system, infrastructure, ICT, digital governance, where we have the throughput, the process, right? And finally, the output that we are looking at, where we would like to have the efficient service, best learning, high impact, smart apps, digital culture, as well as the beneficial products. Now let's talk about the engine room. Alhamdulillah, last year the Ministry of Higher Education has already provided roughly around 168,000 licenses for AI tools. This is for public university. I'm not sure the GLU also obtain the benefits. So what is being telling here is that the staff, the public university staff are being given Gemini Pro access, as well as the students. So students is on the notebook LM. When we divide 128,000 to the 20 public universities, not that much. Meaning that at UPM we have to prioritize students, masters, PhD by research, for example, and undergraduate students who are doing fourth-year project are getting the full access of the license. So the mandate is very clear here. So Ministry of Education has spent huge sum of money, right, to ensure the digitalization being benefited, the AI tools being benefited by the university community. And they put a KPI there, 90% distribution, and what is important is that we are targeting 80% active utilization. So our Chief Digital Officer had already highlighted that any lecturers who are not using the access, the Gemini Pro and Notebook LM, there are certain numbers of minimum usage, and their license can be withdrawn and being retracted. So if they are not using it, might as well we give it to those who are in needs. In terms of re-engineering the education, the way we teach is already changing. I believe our colleagues from all the lecturers are already trying to shift because AI era is already here. The academic, what we are trying to share with you here is just an example of moving forward from the traditional education. We are now introducing the stackable degree program, academic stack. We chose Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology. Alhamdulillah, the faculty are willing to be the called the pioneer. I do not say the guinea pig. It's a pioneer. We try to have a stackable degree program. One is Master in Data Science, as well as Master in Digital Intelligence. This is a master by coursework, for your information. So what we have here is basically we develop the program, the current program, into micro-credentials. So where a student will no longer have to commit a 2-year full-time study at UPM. They can just earn micro-credential, MCs, while working and stack them over time. It depends on their pace of learning and eventually convert them into a full master degree. So this is part and parcel of the rancangan Pelan Tinggi Negara Malaysia. So RPTM 2026-2035. So this is a flexible lifelong learning in action, and to ensure our curriculum is always in sync with the industry in needs. It's already started. It's still ongoing. We are developing the program, and the transformation is happening at high speed. Okay, so we are currently in our 2026 implementation sprint, where the program already identified the phase 1, April 2026, in terms of design and validation. So we focus on the validation and design phase, basically to ensure the micro-credential meets the highest academic standards. It's not just simply having modules where students can just quickly go through the modules within 5 minutes, maybe 5 seconds. You can just get AI to whether Gemini, ChatGPT, or whatever tools to help students. But we try to ensure there will be a closed loop, how lecturers, human intervention come into place. The second phase in May, this is now it's already May, marks the official launch of our MOU with other research university. The project itself is not UPM alone. We have our collaborators from University Malaya, University of Science Malaysia, UTM as well as UKM to pilot this particular program. And we hopefully by October this year we will see the full-scale dual track rollout of our stackable master program. Why we say that it is stackable? Student can start in USM, for example. They can then collect some micro-credential from University Malaya and end up graduating in UPM. So that's flexibility. We start with our research university colleagues first, our brothers and sisters over there, and hopefully we can also expand to other friends like MMU, Uniten, and other universities. Of course, when we talk about AI, we cannot run away about the risk. As I mentioned just now, students can just quickly get some data. They can just get information, not getting the knowledge. So we must be honest about the risk. We cannot just hide it under the carpet. As researchers and educators, right? So we need to put attention on how we ensure that there is an academic integrity in place, right? So AI can generate excellent writing. All students here already been using AI. I believe that in your assignments and so on. And we also need to worry about critical thinking, where student gets an instant answer from AI. So do they lose ability to think, whether to solve problems or to learn something from the modules? So there is also risk in terms of the competence reliance. Faculty spending too much time in terms of managing AI tools. As a lecturer, you also need to be ahead of the students. You need to master the AI tools, and students can become overly reliant on free tier AI that can provide bias or incorrect data. Some say that hallucination kind of thing. So we must address these challenges head on. So to address these risks, okay, so at UPM we have already implemented a 3-tier strategic mitigation framework. This is actually started last year, where we realized we cannot just give students take-home assignment anymore. We cannot do that anymore. It is useless and pointless. So at the university level, so we already defined our standard operating procedures. We put a DASA approved by our Senate, and we define what can be done and what not to be done by the students to provide equitable access to the student, AI to students, and we make sure that no student being left behind. So at the faculty level, right, we provide mandatory AI training for all staff, not just for the lecturers. Our pentadbir, our officers, our pelaksana, and the supporting staff also need to learn AI, and we cannot expect lecturers to become policing the AI if they themselves do not understand what's going on and how AI works. And of course, at the lecturer level, this is the front line. We call them the frontliner. Our educators are revising their assessments to be AI resilient. Assessment must be AI proof. So we are moving away, as I mentioned, from take-home assignment, where we want a human in the loop process. So there must be an intervention, whether it is a normal class or the micro-credential. There must be a version of a different sets of assignments where they would be interviews to the students, in-person demonstration before the process-based grading took place. So the goal is to shift focus from the final output to the journey of learning. Okay. Again, in terms of the assessment paradigm, this is just to summarize what I mentioned just now. Vulnerable to AI, easily prompted take-home essays to AI resilient assessment require a process, focus exclusively on the final submitted output to be integrate AI in terms of redesign activities, make sure AI critique and analysis is a mandatory component, and finally isolated unmonitored assignments. What we did before is no longer relevant today. We need to prioritize human in the loop in our process. So long-term resilience, basically relies on balancing strict usage cap with individual academic ethics. The immediate necessity, we need to have clear boundaries, specific usage of caps, and standardized monitoring protocols are required in our implementation, and the ultimate mitigation, right? So through systemic resilience cannot rely on policing alone. So we need treating and learning methods that must be evolved in order for us to cope with the new generation. So in conclusion, UPM mandate is very simple but profound, where we know that digital transformation 2030 is not the destination. We are just not looking at what's going to happen in 2030, but it is basically a continuous journey of advancing the teaching and learning, and the important part is the university experience to our students. At UPM, we will continue to lead. Of course, our niche area is still agriculture and food security, and inshallah this coming June we are launching our blueprint on sustainable planetary health. So that one is another pillars that we are looking at, and of course I would like to give my warm invitation to all of you lecturers, students, researchers to be co-architect of our smart university, whether at UPM or at your own university, and let us use technology to enhance our humanity, not to replace it. With that, thank you very much for listening and giving attention.
Thank you, Prof, for the insightful presentation. I'm very sure that everyone in this audience learned some valuable insights from you just now, Prof.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to the next keynote address. May we invite our next keynote speaker, Professor Insinyur Dr. Sulaiman Wadi Harun, Professor from Faculty of Engineering, University of Malaya, to deliver his speech. Professor Sulaiman Wadi Harun earned his Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical and Electronic System Engineering from Nagaoka University of Technology, Japan, followed by his Master of Science and PhD in Photonics Technology from the University of Malaya. He has nearly 2 decades of research experience in optical fiber technologies, with significant contributions to fiber amplifiers, lasers, and sensing systems. His work also extends to the integration of advanced nanomaterials, including graphene, carbon nanotubes, black phosphorus, topological insulators, and zinc oxide nanostructures for photonic device applications. He has published more than 1,000 papers in ISI index journals, receiving over 9,000 citations and achieving an IH index exceeding 55. Prof. Sulaiman has supervised more than 90 PhD graduates. He currently serves as an academic editor of the International Journal of Optics, holds adjunct professorships at Erlangga University and Brawijaya University in Indonesia, and is a Fellow of the Academy of Sciences Malaysia. Among his honours are the Malaysian Rising Star Award 2016 and the Optoelectronics Letters Best Paper Award 2023. He is also the founder and honorary advisor of the Optical Society of Malaysia. Without further ado, please welcome our keynote speaker for today, Prof. Sulaiman.
Oh ni, ni yang ni. Slide saya ni. Pakai ni buat apa? Tapi tak boleh kontrol. Tapi saya belum buka ini. Tapi yang ni tak, dia tak ada itu, tak sambung. Kau pakai. Tak apa. Ni kabel tak ada. Oh, tak ada kabel. Tak boleh pakai yang tu tak. Pakai slide tu tak.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be patient while we sort out some technical issues.
Okay. So we have solved our technical issue. Okay, good morning to everyone. Assalamualaikum. First of all, I would like to thank my old friend, Prof. Yusuf. MMU friend, I was also from MMU those days. My first academic job is actually MMU. And all the organizers, Datuk President, CEO of TMRND and all my colleagues. Okay, so today I will talk about the photonics, shaping the future at the speed of light. So I'm from the Department of Electrical Engineering, University of Malaya. So University of Malaya is located in Kuala Lumpur. I think most of you know So we are located at the center of Kuala Lumpur. So we are a broad-based research incentive university. So with, I think our number of students is around 20,000. It's not that big, but we have all the main faculties, and Faculty of Engineering is the fourth largest faculty in UM. And if you believe in ranking, so we are in number 60 according to the QS rankings. So we are always top in Malaysia. Okay, so today I will talk about, first I will talk about the photonic revolutions, and then introduce my work on the ultra-fast photonics, fiber lasers, then microfibers applications. Okay, the first photonic revolution started in 1960 when Tidu Maiman ignited the first laser. In 1960, there is a ruby laser. He made laser from the ruby rock, pumped by the flash lamp. So ruby rock consists of chromium ion. So this visible light or broadband light from the flash lamp absorb the visible light, green and blue, excited to the higher energy level, and create the population inversion and go down to the ground state, emit 694.3 nanometers lasers. To remember these first photonic revolutions, so UNESCO declare 16 May every year, another 2 weeks or 10 days, we will celebrate the International Day of Light. So every year, photonic community celebrate International Day of Light every 16 May. And the idea of lasers is actually so much earlier, 50 years earlier from this, the first demonstrations of the laser. In 1916 by Albert Einstein that explained the principle of stimulated emissions during that time. And because of that, this work actually has been submitted to the journal, Nature Journal, and was rejected because of lack of novelty. But today we know how important the lasers, this work. So now photonic is everywhere in our modern life. So we have in the telecommunications, and then in the medical sectors, in manufacturing, and future maybe in the fusions, in the energy sectors, when we can use nuclear fusion actually, using the high power laser to combine the atoms. By combining the atom, we can generate high energies that we refer to the mini sun. So a lot of scientists working toward this actually to solve our energy problems for the future. And laser diode, actually the main of component for the telecommunications, is invented 1 year later, in 1962 actually. PN junctions, actually, if you know PN junction, you have P type of semiconductors and N type of semiconductor. You forward bias, you generate light through the electron hole recombination process. So the first laser diode in 1962, but the use, the widespread use is actually 10 years later, 1970s above. That's why the telecommunications start after 1970s, because the PN junction is not efficient. It requires about 20 amperes to generate 1 milliwatt of laser. But in 1970, there is a clever group that introduced heterojunction structures. Mean they use, instead of one P type of material, they have P and P plus. They slightly change the doping, so they can reduce the efficiency significantly, and laser become cheap, and people can use for the telecommunications. We also need to thank Charles Gow that saw the possibility to use of fiber for telecommunications. In 1966, so Charles Gow gave the idea to use optical fibers. So optical fiber is made from the glass, silica glass. So glass is abundant, so they can give low loss at telecommunication wavelength 1.5 microns, and because of his contributions, so actually the development of fiber optics is very fast. It maybe start in 1966, they produced the fiber optics with 1000 dB per kilometer loss. And then within 5 years, they can reduce to 0.2 dB per kilometer. So every 100 kilometer, you will have 20 dB loss, because 0.2 dB per kilometer. 20 dB loss means 99 of the power loss. So because 1%, this 1% we can use for telecommunications. So to appreciate this, Charles Gow received the Nobel Prize in 2009, but he passed away 2010. Okay, and then the main contributions. Actually, one of the main contributions for the rapid development of the telecommunication is actually the inventions of the optical amplifiers by 3 people that work very hard. Actually, a lot of people, but this people is a pioneer, the first people that reported the optical amplifiers. So we have David Payne from ORC, Optoelectronic Research Center, Southampton University. We have Deserve and Giles. These 3, actually this is a PhD work. Optical amplifier is a PhD work, PhD thesis in 1987. So they use erbium to provide amplifications at the infrared region, 1.5 microns. So because we are lucky because they did a patent, these ideas. They did a patent, otherwise we lack 20 years. Maybe we still cannot have fast internet today. Maybe we need to wait another 20 years. Okay, so they use erbium ions that absorb 980 nanometer laser diode and emit at the 1.5 microns. So amplification is because of the stimulated emission process. So multiplications of the number of photons. So this has powered tremendous growth of internet. So the commercially available optical amplifier in 1995, then when we have submarine network using the optical amplifiers. And optical amplifiers only can cover 100 nanometer bandwidth. So in telecommunications, in second photonic revolution, is actually optical fiber communications. So they have 100 nanometer bandwidth. So normally in the telecommunication, you combine many wavelengths. You combine many wavelengths, transmit into a single core of optical fibers, and split back the signal at the end. So because of this WDM network, okay, can cover only 100 nanometers. So, so engineer need to find way for the future telecommunication, because 100 nanometer only can accommodate 100 channels or the maximum 150 channels, because you cannot put the wavelength too close, because they can cause the interaction between wavelength, they can cause the nonlinear effects, forward mixing effects that can disturb the telecommunication system. So we will discuss later. And then maybe the optical fiber internet, perhaps the greatest optical gift from God to the mankind, because optical fiber, silica have low loss at 1.5, and silica is abundant. So the cost of fiber optics, so how much we use fiber optics? underground, everywhere you put fiber optics. But because of the made is from sand and they are abundant, so the price of fiber optics is very cheap. Yeah? So now you can buy 25 kilometers of fiber optics, maybe 1,000 ringgit, 25 kilometers. Actually, there is no cost for that. And we are lucky because erbium, ion can give amplification that the low loss at the low loss regions of 1.5. And Moore's law, you know Moore's law, the demand for capacity doubling every 2 years. Okay, after 2 years, you need more internet data. You use more, double actually. So far, it's proven that Moore's law is correct. So you require double. So engineers need to work harder, more harder actually, to find way, because as I said, the current system maybe can accommodate 100 of 150 channels. So cover C band and L band maybe in between of bands. And in future we need to think. So a lot of people work for, one of the technique is to use the few modes fibers. Few modes fiber mean multi-modes. So you cannot have 1,000 multi-mode because very difficult to control. So you need to pick up only few, 4 modes. You need to design so that you have 4 or 8 modes. So it's replaced, so you can multiply by 4 the current capacities. And this made the amplifications is easier, or the control is easier because of a small number of modes. And this only can be done by photonic crystal fibers. So this one of the idea. It's not the future because company didn't expose. You don't know the technology, the future technology, because they don't tell anybody, they don't publish anything. But this one of the technique. So we need to thank Jonathan Knight, Philip Rusher, both of them actually introduced photonic crystal fiber. You see this fiber, they have very beautiful structures, microstructures. Okay, so they operate not by the total internal reflections. Conventionally, we design the fiber, the core diameter is, the core refractive index larger than the cladding. So the light propagate inside optical fiber, the core with no loss. Photonic fiber use the photonic band gap effect. So you control the light by controlling the spacing between the hole. Okay, so this new techniques for the light propagation. And people saying if we use, instead of we use glass, so optical fiber core is glass. Glass has higher refractive index, 1.5 refractive index. So light travels slower at glass compared to at the air or vacuums, air. So why not we make the core is air? Okay, well, if we make the core is air, so the light will travel maybe 40% faster. And we know conventionally we need to maintain the total internal reflection. We need to design core higher refractive index compared to the claddings. But in this case, we know air have lower refractive index, okay, compared to the glass. So by using the photonic crystal fiber, we can make hollow core fiber that can be used for transmission also, or we can use also for high power lasers. High power fiber laser, because in high power you need to have the large core. Otherwise, because the power in kilowatt or megawatts, so the peak power, so they can break the fiber easily. If any scratch, they will break. But if you make the core is larger, so the power density inside the core will be lower. And fiber laser technologies that we develop. So fiber lasers operating wavelength depend on the medium that you use. So normally we use erbium because erbium is all the components because of the second photonic revolutions. All the telecommunication devices now become very, very cheap. So we use these devices to make fiber lasers using erbium with the efficiency of 40 or 50%. But ytterbium have more efficiency. Ytterbium is used for the high power lasers and for medical applications because if you want to ask money from the government, from people from anywhere, like America doing now, so to ask money from anybody actually. So these two things, people are going to spend their money. For medical purpose, defense. To kill people or to save life, these two. So medical application very important. We need to move our shift, our research into the medical actually. If you want, we need to hide under medical or defense. Otherwise, you cannot do science because nobody will fund you. So you need to kill people or save life, these two. Because if you're going to die, you have how much money you have. If people are saying they can extend your life by 1 week or 1 month, you give all the money. Money is nothing if you are going to die. And this, we develop our femtosecond lasers. This is the laser cavity, short laser cavities. So we can design various type of ultra fast with pulse duration. In the femtoseconds here, pulse duration 152 femtoseconds. So why we need to have a short pulse? Because short pulse we have very high peak powers. So the average power, even though in the milliwatts, but the peak power can be kilowatts. So you can use for, it's like for cutting, it's very good. It's like knife. The sharper the knife means the shorter the path durations. Okay? So if you want to cut metal, you doesn't care how. But if you want to cut your body, okay, you want to have very good knife. So must be very ultra short pulse laser so that they can cause no bleeding. Nothing. There is no effect to the neighboring organs and so on. So this is very important. So a lot of application of ultra short pulse. So we can develop various types for telecommunication, therapy, optical communication, for microscopy. For microscope. Microscope very important for medical application because without microscope, now doctor cannot do their work. You cannot see inside the body. Anything require microscope. And the shorter the pulse means, the better the resolutions. The better the resolutions of the images. Okay, this for high powers. For high power, we use different techniques. We use different type of fiber, that double clad fibers. So they have two claddings. So we pump in through the inner claddings. They have 100 nanometers diameters, 100 microns, 100 micron diameters inner claddings. So it's quite a straightforward design. So the idea is how good you can combine many laser diodes. It's actually the cascading. If you can cascade more laser diodes, so you can get more outputs. Okay, if for example you use ytterbium, the efficiency is 90%. And now you can buy laser diode like that. Is the power in 200 watts. Now 200 watts easily, 500 watts, very cheap price now because they move very fast. So every 6 months the price reduced half actually for the high power pumps. And then okay, because of China products. So you can make, so we developed welding machines using the high power laser, because the future should be laser welding. It's not more conventional welding if we can reduce the price. Because now the problem, the price. Laser welding 50K, normal welding is 2,000 ringgit, only 3,000. But if now the price dropping, now maybe you can have with 10,000 ringgit for the devices. So laser welding is easier to handle, so they can weld for different type of materials. Easy because you can control the powers. You can control the powers. Okay, so we can weld metal easily using the lasers, because laser we provide heat, we soften the metals, and you can weld the metals. Okay. Very easy, easy in handling. Anybody can weld now. No need to have a specialized on that field. Very easy and safer. And future for me, infrared. People move to work with infrared, so we also try to do in our lab using Z-blind EDF, but the problem, this type of fiber, the new technologies, is the price of fiber is very expensive. One spool of fiber cost is 50,000 ringgit, and the surface, because Z-blind is soft glass, so you cannot touch the surface of the fibers. But sometimes during alignment, the student, they touch, mistakenly touch the surface, and then so you burn 50,000 ringgit in 1 second. Okay, so you cannot do many times because we have limited resources. So so this is the problem. So we got the 2.8 micron lasers. Why mid-infrared? Because our body consists of 60% of water. Okay, so mid-infrared water can be easily absorbed by the waters actually. So they can reduce damage for our bodies. And if we have ultra short path lasers, you can launch into the photonic crystal fiber. You can make it supercontinuum light source, broadband light source, coherent broadband light source that is very good for the imaging systems. Very good for the imaging systems. Okay, and then we can use also photon for sensing and measurements, and because of the time, so I think I want to tell you one story about microfibers. These microfibers. So we know the optical fiber have 125 micron diameter of the claddings. So the size of fiber is 125 microns. So because people tend to make devices, nanotechnology, nano size or micro size, smaller is better, rapid development of nanotechnology. And people always ask, so beside the photon, can fiber guide either something else? So whether they can guide particles, virus, bacteria, okay, beside the light. We know the fiber can guide light, okay. And I used to, maybe 20 years ago, to work with maybe technicians from telecoms. So when they think that optical fiber like copper wires, so they never clean the pit tips. Actually, they never clean. Because the size of the core diameter is 9 microns. The dust size is 50 microns, larger than the core size. So they can block the core, they can cause the loss very easily. But so as electromagnetic wave, can the photon in the glass behave like electron in the wires? Copper wire, you can transfer electron by just touching the wires, right? Okay. Can we do with optical fibers? The answer is yes. The answer is yes if the fiber is thin enough. If you make the fiber in the micro or nano scale, nano size, so you can make those things. And these normal fibers, 125 microns, so we reduce to this one, I think 400 nanometers. So you can reduce the size. So optical fiber with diameter comparable to or smaller than the wavelength of the guided light. So the light wavelength is 1.5 microns, infrared. If you can make the fiber optics in these dimensions, so you can have these two characteristics, as I said. Okay, so why this attractive? Okay, so the microfiber nanowires actually, based on the nature, so actually the top 5 in physics topics actually, nanowires or nanofibers. Okay, it's depend of the material. You can make using the normal optical fiber, as I said. You can make the silicon nanofibers or silicon microfibers. You can make using semiconductors. People are making zinc oxide nanowires using the hydrothermal process. So you put the thing inside the oven. You grow actually these nanowires. And you can use metal nanowires. Silver nanowire you can grow also using the similar techniques. So depend on the type, but metal nanowire is smaller. Zinc oxide is slightly larger in between. Silica is slightly larger. Okay, you see you can transfer light between these three mediums. Okay, so single mode guidance. Optical properties of the fiber will change when you reduce the size. So this is normal fiber. Normal fiber, the cut-off wavelength is at 1200. This one, when you reduce the size, the red color, 1 micrometer, you reduce the size. You see here is cut-off wavelength, and for the microfiber, there is no more cut-off wavelength. So you can make single mode operations at visible range. You can make single mode operations at the visible range. This is very important. Sometimes you want to use visible light. People don't want to use infrared 1.5, very visible. So there's some application. You want to handle visible light, you can use microfiber to get the single mode guidance. You see, these two lines overlap. Mean loss is negligible. Loss is negligible. They have a very low loss. They have very low loss. Maybe 0.001 dB per mm. So your device maybe few mm, a few cm. Okay. So they have low propagation loss. So you can transfer light from the normal fibers, for example, 1 milliwatt of the light into a nanofibers. The same power, 1 milliwatts. So 1 milliwatt in the one small areas can generate interesting phenomena. Okay. So they have a strong evanescence field. So light actually traveling outside of the core of the fibers. So you can you have larger optical gradient force because light have a force. So you can move other things. You can use for atom trapping, waveguarding actually. So you can use this evanescence field actually to move virus for medical application or to move bacteria, because this you have the force, the gradient force. And the strong evanescence field also can be used for the various sensing applications. And supercontinuum, this nonlinear effect, they have high nonlinearities. So you can transfer from 1 milliwatt from normal fiber to the single nanofibers. So 1 milliwatt in 1 nanometer size fibers, 100 nanometer size fibers. So the power density will be very high. The power density inside the optical fibers. So power density high, they will generate heat. Heat will vibrate the molecule. The vibrations of molecule will generate acoustic wave. You know, when we vibrate, they generate sound, acoustic wave. So when we have acoustic wave propagating inside the fibers, and we have light wave. You have two waves, two frequencies. Doppler effects, two frequencies. You have two frequencies, you can generate another frequency. Okay, you can generate another frequency. So you can generate various nonlinear effects. You can generate Raman scattering, Brillouin scattering, forward mixing, surface modulations, all type of nonlinear effects, and the combinations of these nonlinear effects can use to generate supercontinuum light source. So this is made from silica microfibers, small microfibers. Previously I showed we can make a supercontinuum light source using the photonic crystal fibers. So we may need 100 meters. 100 meters may cost 50K in those days. Now I think about 100K. You buy 100 meter photonic crystal fiber, 100,000 ringgit. But microfiber you can make with the maybe less than 1 ringgit the cost. Okay, so you can make the same thing, but this operate in the visible range. Okay, actually, you can make a lot of things. And they have strong emission phase, so you can couple light from the one waveguide to couple to another waveguide. Microfiber to another microfiber. You can transport all the light intensity. Theoretically, there is no loss actually. Practically also very small loss. And they have, because light traveling outside of the core. So you know in the telecommunication we have a waveguide dispersion. We have chromatic dispersion, actually material dispersion, more because light traveling in the core and cladding, they're traveling at different speed. Okay, so you get the pulse broadening. Okay, so you can compensate, you can have the negative broadening. Mean because light traveling more inside the cladding, outside of the fibers. So maybe 90% of the light traveling outside of the fibers, they have the lower refractive index. So they're traveling faster at the outer space. So you can get broadening there. So waveguide dispersion, that very large. You can get very large waveguide dispersion. You can use to make this dispersion compensator for the telecommunications. So a lot of things can be done. They can bend. Okay, so we do have time. So how to fabricate? How to fabricate? So we use flame. Okay. So the fiber we need fibers to make microfiber. The fiber maybe 25 kilometer. You buy 1,000 ringgit. So the cost is actually 1,000 ringgit. You can use until you die. More than you die, stay more than 100 to 100 years. Only 1,000 ringgit investment to study microfibers. Very low cost study is good for the developing countries. And then use flame. We use butan flames. Cooking gas. Now because of war in Iraq, maybe Iran. So maybe the price of gas is increased, but still cooking gas is very cheap. 50 ringgit, you buy 110, 50 ringgit. So 50 ringgit can last maybe 1 year or 2 years if no leaking. Leaking, so they finish earlier. So very low investment. So you need to have cooking gas and fibers. So we made the setup by the students, so they use Arduino, control all these things. So you can heat, melt, and pull, actually, fabrications. It's very easy, melt and pull. Okay, so if you want to make, you can use micro manipulations to make more complicated structures. So you can make various resonators. various devices. You can make ring resonators, you can make Mach-Zehnder structures, you can make coil resonators. Okay, this is the thing that we make. And you can you can use for temperature sensors because normally people use FBG for temperature sensors. FBG only can sustain temperature up to the 300 degrees Celsius. After 300, grating will disappear. But this fiber made from the silica melting temperature is 1,200 actually, 1,200. So easily can work up to 1,000 degrees. So this is very important, high temperature sensing, because high temperature sensing is for this steel industry. So a lot of things you can study actually. A lot of things not yet been studied. So you can make the quantum nonlinear optics, you can do the plasmonics, lot of applications. So we don't have time, maybe this, we made the short cavity lasers. This, we made Mach-Zehnder interferometers with a small footprint and high flexibilities. We can embed it into the polymers, maintain their characteristics. This we use for the current sensors. Okay. This temperature sensor we test up to 800 degrees Celsius. They have a linear relationship. Very low cost probe. These strain sensors. This we coat the zinc oxide nanorock on the microfibers. We make the sensor devices. This we make the microbottle resonators. So we launch light through the microfiber into the fiber optic, 125 micron, functions as to generate the whispering gallery modes. Whispering gallery modes. We make the laser, micro-sized laser, putting inside the die laser, easy to make in the lab. But you can make more complicated. This we made the easy because we don't have money. We have limited funding from the government, from the university. Okay, this you can attach the zinc oxide. Zinc oxide can produce laser. Okay, many things that we have done. Okay, I think you can make the plasmonic applications, putting the metal nanowires. Okay, what's next? How far can we go? Actually, it depends on how well can we confine and transport the light. So we can study for various materials, dielectric, semiconductor, and also metal materials. Okay, as conclusions. Okay, so actually seeing the inventions of the laser in 1960, so photonic had developed very fast, championing the telecommunication industry. We have the telecommunication revolutions, optical telecommunication revolutions, and in future what we see now, we may have Wi-Fi in future instead of Wi-Fi. We have driverless car now that require a lot of sensors. So the best sensor is optical sensors, because optical sensor you can combine. If you use lot of sensors, when you have 1 million point of sensors or 10,000, you cannot use electrical sensor anymore, because you need to collect information. You cannot you can multiplex these optical signals. Okay, I think that's all my talk for today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Sulaiman, for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude our opening ceremony, I would like to make a few important announcements. To all participants, please take note of the following. All participants are required to sign in to their respective conferences either physically or virtually by 2 p.m. Kindly refer to your program book for details on parallel session venues and access links to your respective conferences. The ICTIM parallel sessions will be held here at the MRND, while other conference sessions will take place at our MMU Cyberjaya campus down the road. Lunch will be served at the Mercury Room located just in front of this hall. We warmly invite you to visit the Innovation Showcase featuring exhibits from TMRND and MMU researchers. You may find valuable research inspiration and networking opportunities. Shuttle services to MMU Cyberjaya campus are available. Please gather at the designated pickup point by 1:30 p.m. Although the main conference concludes on 7th of May, we will also be hosting post-conference online workshop focusing on publication. The first one directly after our closing ceremony is by Clarivate, and the second workshop is for the DIFCON 2026 special issue with Bonview journals. This is scheduled on 13th of May 2026. Kindly refer to the email sent earlier for registration details and the workshop link, or you may get in touch with our conference committee for information.
And now, we would like to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Yusof to escort Yang Berbahagia, Professor Dato' and Dr. Shalin and all our VIPs to visit the Innovation Showcase at the Showcase Room before proceeding for lunch at the Venus Room. As the saying goes, to every beginning there is an ending. Today marks not just the conclusion of our opening ceremony, but the beginning of an inspiring journey together at DIFCON 2026. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our deepest and heartfelt appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Professor Dato' Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Suud, Dr. Shalin Tiagaraja, our distinguished co-organizers, generous sponsors, and esteemed keynote speakers for gracing this occasion with your presence and support. We are equally grateful to all participants, both on-site and online, for being part of this meaningful gathering. Your support and presence truly elevate DIFCON 2026 as a platform of knowledge, innovation, and collaboration. We sincerely wish all participants a fruitful, inspiring, and enriching experience throughout the 3 days of the conference. With that, I, Nazri Amin,
And I, Zarina Mat Yatim, on behalf of the DIFCON 2026 committee,
thank you and see you again.